Hey, hello, Richard Metzel fan, huh? I'm bringing you guys an old school album review, and today we're going to be looking into this album's 15-year anniversary, and in my opinion, this is pretty much them at their peak, and it's from one of the best bands in the whole Gothenburg scene, the whole Swedish melodic death metal movement, and as you can see, well, the title today we're going to be talking about Come Clarity by In Flames, the band's eighth album released on February 3rd, 2006 through Ferret Music. Now, In Flames definitely does the introduction. They're part of the whole Gothenburg scene with like At the Gates and Dark Tranquillity. Um, and this is the band's overall eighth album. But and like In Flames definitely has evolves over the years. Like their first 4 or 5 albums were mostly just straight up melodic death metal, like probably In Flames, which is in my opinion their best album, and they will never top that. And also Horacle, and then of course it wasn't until like Roots Remain that they actually had changed up their sound a little bit, like going with like a little bit more of an alternative metal sound while still having some of their mellow death style to it, especially with like adding like introduction of like clean vocals and stuff. And this album definitely I feel like is a mixture of like some of their roots, like their older shit, like off of Jester Race and Horkle, with like stuff from their current stuff like Roots Remain, and it just mixes like a lot of like melody and just chugging riffs, which is great. Just like the production, fantastic. And like just the vocally, Anders Frieden's like vocals, like he does like a lot of like harsher vocals, like but you could definitely hear what he says. And then he's has like cleaner vocals, which I feel like his clean vocals really shine. Like he does like put so much emotion into this album. It's just great. The guitar work, I just love how they all In Flames always has like their guitar sound. It just has like melodies and just like dueling riffs. Like Jesper Stromblad and Bjorn Jolet's guitar playing is pretty solid and just one of the best guitar duos ever. Bass wise, Peter Iwers, I think he stepped it up. Like you could definitely hear the bass is pretty audible. And drumming wise, Daniel Svenson's drumming is pretty solid. But he definitely knows how to keep a beat. So let's just dive into this album track by track. Now, starting things off of the album is Take This Life, which starts off with a little guitar intro and then comes the drums, which has like a slow little blast beat. And then, what do you know, you get into like a death metal riff straight away, and the verse contains Anders sort of like singing but with like more of like aggression to it. And then the chorus itself has like a great like harmonic guitar line, and then Anders singing clean vocals. And I feel like the song kind of feels a little bit personal, no, to me. Then we move on to Leeches, which this song kind of reminds me a little bit of like My Sweet Shadow off of their previous album, Soundtrack to Your Escape, which has like some really great techie effects, which they quite mix it really well with the metal. And I love like Daniel's cymbal work in this song, and it backs up the guitars great. And the verse has Anders singing, backing up with sort of like drumming, and the chorus is, I don't know, it just feels like a lot of pain going into it, and some very nice vocals here. And then we move on to track number 3, which is called Reflect the Storm, which has like a nice harmonic guitar intro. It's some really great like bass guitar working with the drums. And then Andrew gives like a nice little intro to Whams, just going to some straight chugging guitars, and then it leads back into like the beginning riff, which adding a little chugs in between. And this song just only gets better. And I don't know, it's just like the chorus in my opinion is the highlight of this song. It's really nice and slow. And then we move on to Dead End, which this song is pretty interesting. This actually has a female doing guest vocals, which I believe it's Lisa Miskovsky. Yeah, yeah, and I just love her voice. I've never heard of her before I listened to this album. And I just love like how they can differentiate the music in here with sort of like Lisa and Anders singing, sort of like soft harmony for Lisa's vocals, and then onto like Anders' boom, just heaviness. Yes, and I feel like their voices just go perfectly well together and just sung together, and just great harmony in the chorus, and the way that they sound just really just contradicts each other. I don't know, it's a good song. Moving on to Scream, which then it opens up with like distorted guitar or on like a single string, that comes the rest of the band, and the short sides, then Anders just comes in and singing about lyrically about how ordinary people are only living for life itself. And the chorus is what it's titled, a man screaming about screaming, pretty much. Moving on to the title track of the album, Coming Clarity, which this is, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful songs I've heard heard it. It opens up with like a great acoustic guitar line and the bass and the drum. And just play like slowly and peacefully, and then comes another acoustic guitar part, or playing another amazing line. Sorry, can't even speak today. And then I just think his vocals just sound really great, and the song just flows together perfectly. Vacuum, which just this song just has no intro, it just thrown straight in there right from the get-go. It just shows you no mercy, and the chorus just doesn't give you time to breathe. Well, it does a little bit, but it just goes right into there, and it has some really great vocals, just really nice and harmonic. Then we move on to Pacing Death's Trail, which is actually the first song without any clean vocals. It's just really just aggressive, just right in your face. And it also has a little bit of like guitar harmonics. It's a very fast-paced song, and you don't even know where the chorus is going, but I don't know, it's just fucking fast. Then we move on to Crawl Through Knives. Which alongside like the title track, this is another one of my favorites from the album. Has a simplistic yet cool intro for the song, and then it speeds up to another chugging riff, and this is pretty much where Andrews begins to sing, and he keeps his like grizzly kind of like voice for the verses, as it has like a great drumming and just a great guitar riff. Like, what more could you ask for? Versus Terminus, which I don't know. I love like the drum work for the song and just some quick guitars. It goes all well together, and this song is like the most harmonic from this album. I mean, not really much chugging in here, but it's a pretty interesting song. Then we move on to Our Infinite Struggle. Oh, which we're almost done with this album. Just 3 more songs. It just has a bam bam intro on like the snare drum, and there's some harmonic guitars come in, and there's like a lot of like pain, like the vocals during the verse and the chorus just coming from Anders, which I feel like it could deal with a personal matter, but who knows. Vanishing Light, which has some more chugging, has a song that has no breakdown, just goes straight through, doesn't bullshit around. I also love like there's also like key changes in here, which kind of like the Pacing Death's Trail, which is, I don't know, it's pretty interesting. And then the album closes finally with Your Bedtime Story is Scaring Everybody. But it starts off with some like distorted like screeching, and then there's like a piano part with a very quiet voice, which I can't even hear what it's saying. And it goes on for about like over 5 minutes, and 3/4 in the song is a piano harmony, which only lasts about a minute and a half, and then the song begins with like some slow paced chugging guitars, as like Anders' vocals kind of sound weird, like goes low and high, but it sounds cool. But I don't know. Well, I feel like it could have been, it's a lot different, but I feel like there could have been a little bit more overall. My only little complaint about it, I feel like the piano is a little bit too long, but it could have been different. But overall, this album is mega. Now, overall, Come Clarity by In Flames is another solid album to her discography, and I feel like this is pretty much them at their peak, like I mentioned. So rather than give the song a score, I'm going to give Come Clarity by In Flames a solid 9.5 out of 10. So that's my review of Come Clarity. Guys, let me know what you guys think about the album, and I'll see you all in the next video. And as always, keep it metal. Talk gay.